Max, thank you for taking the time out and speaking to us. talkSPORT, the greatest sports radio in the UK. Let's dive into it. 5 wins from 5. You're showing so much dominance right now. And do you feel like you're getting the credit you deserve? And there's a danger that people might be putting down to the car.
For me, it's never really been about just getting the credit I deserve because, I don't know. For me, it's more important that I just, focus on the performance of the car myself, making everything work and, just the relationship with the team. And then, probably it's also just very hard, when you're not within the team, you don't really know what's going on fully, right? So you can't probably appreciate as much what has been done. Of course, it's easy to say, the car is great, it's the best out there, which it is, but you still need to deliver. Every single weekend you need to try and be perfect. I know being perfect is super hard, but I try to be as close as possible all the time.
Yeah. Honestly, how are you finding it? Is it easy out there? Because I know sometimes when you're at the front, it can get lonesome, it can get a lonely race. How do you keep motivated?
Yeah, of course it seems like it's lonely out there, but I always try to, find other things to do, working on the car. What can I try? Different brake balance. There are always things that I'm working around with the car because, okay, you might be in the lead, but it's still an opportunity to learn, right? And I keep trying to test myself and try to learn, try different things. Some things might not work. Some things might work a bit better, but sometimes trying to find a combination of the things that might work or not. If you find a middle way, it might lead you into a different direction and give you even more performance. So yeah, it's just testing yourself, pushing yourself. Never think that it's easy or you never get complacent, really. You just always try to push yourself to be better.
So each race you're trying different things. Doesn't matter how much you're in the lead, you're trying to test yourself out.
Yeah, you have to push yourself, and I know I've been on the other side as well, where you're not in the lead and you're trying to catch up, and that's very frustrating. This is great, but you want to now try and stay there, right? So you have to work probably even harder.
Yeah, we'll say 2 years ago was probably the most compelling history in F1, exciting, entertaining. Do you miss the battles head-to-head with Lewis Hamilton?
Well, I think in general, that's what we have been doing from when we were little kids, right? The competition. Of course, Formula 1 is like that, unfortunately, that most of the time there is a dominant team. If you look back at the history, it's always been like one team dominating for a few years, and then you have the odd 1 or 2 years where it doesn't happen. And yeah, you just have to appreciate those moments where it does happen. But on the other hand, it would be unfair as well to now say, well, because we are dominating, we should be slowed down or whatever. That's just how Formula 1 works as well.
Yeah, so obviously we've got the big Grand Prix, British Grand Prix coming up Silverstone. Lewis has been very vocal about fans booing you, the hostility. Does that bother you, or does it give you extra motivation?
Again, I try to always stay very neutral in these things.
Yeah.
I think our sport was not very used to that in the past, that there was a lot of booing. But in other sports, this has been normal, right? You would go into a stadium and you get booed. I guess that's how it goes. And for us, it was just very new. And I think the good thing for us is once you jump in the car, you have your helmet on. You don't hear anything anyway, so you just focus on your job. But I do think last weekend, of course, we were in Austria, a lot of Dutch fans, and I didn't hear any booing going on or whatever for any driver. And I think that was good. I think it's important to try and raise awareness, to not have too much hate around in the sport. Yeah. I think that's what we need to work at and work on. That's, I think, continuous. I think also everyone says this. But, I know, of course, naturally that when you get here, they support the British drivers a bit more, but that's fine. That's normal. So for me, that's not really a big problem. Yeah.
Rumour is that Mercedes are bringing their biggest upgrade package to Silverstone to try and close a gap to you guys. Obviously your car is very dominant. Is there any upgrade yourself to bring in?
Not for this race, but hopefully
too strong, aren't you guys? Don't need any.
Yeah, well, it's just you plan, right? You plan whenever your upgrades are coming, and we have a certain planning. I think it's also when you're a bit you didn't know the direction in the beginning, and then finally you see what direction you have to work into. That's what Mercedes did. Probably you can bring updates a bit faster. I think we're quite comfortable with the direction we were working in. And then it's just a continuous process. You don't need to rush things. It's sometimes better to just understand what you have and work from there, and then introduce big steps, bigger steps in one go. That's what we're doing. Other teams have a different approach to it, but for sure, we know that Mercedes coming with a big upgrade here. We know that they are naturally always very strong at this track if you look at the history.
Yeah.
So I don't expect it to be very straightforward.
Yeah. How would you say best describe Silverstone? Would you say this is one of your stronger tracks or weaker?
I think it's a good track. I enjoy driving it, but I mean it has so much history in the sport, but also the layout is really cool. It's a lot of fast corners. The fans as well. Motorsport, basically is built around the UK, so almost all the teams are here, and it's great to see all the amount of fans coming to the Grand Prix over the whole weekend, and also what's around the Grand Prix nowadays. So it's one big festival almost.
Yeah. Well, you're on chance to win your third championship. How would you say are you a better driver from your first championship to now?
I think just more experience.
Yeah.
I always expected it to be like that because you just, I don't think you necessarily improve in pace, but it's just all the things that happen within a year, good moments, bad moments.
That's Max Verstappen going past for the pole.
Yeah, it's always a good sound, isn't it? It's just you learn from all these moments, and I think that makes you a stronger all-round driver.
Yeah. In Austria, in the sprint race, there was an incident with yourself and Checo. How did that go down in the debrief?
Yeah, I mean, I think we spoke to each other straight away, and Checo clearly, you didn't see me. It was wet as well, so there's a lot of spray around. But it's good to talk about these things, and these things are also very easily cleared again. Yeah. So it was a bit spicy at the time, but luckily nothing happened.
Yeah, one thing that we are in is whispers, and I hope it is only just whispers, that a retirement for Max Verstappen. Is that just whispers? Is that anytime soon?
It's not anytime soon. I mean, I have a contract until 28, and at that point, I'm 31 years old. So I'm not talking about that too much. But I'm always very open and honest about my plans, my future. I have a lot of plans also outside of Formula One, and I don't want to be in the sport until I'm 40 because I feel like I also want to do other things and also live a life. I mean, I know that this is the best thing there is for me, F1, but I've been racing since I'm like 4 years old, so at one point I guess it's also enough, and I accomplished all my goals already, right? My dream was to be a world champion, a race winner, all these kind of things, so I've done that. And I already said after the first title that everything that comes next is more like a bonus, and I do see it like that. And I'm honestly just enjoying the moment, and I'm really happy with the people around me as well, within the team, close to me, my family, friends. Just enjoy what I have right now. But at one point, there's also another life out there I want to explore.
Yeah. Tell us about your relationship with Cristiano. We hear it after the race on the radio. It seems like you two really work well together.
Yeah, I mean, Christian is of course our team boss, but also I like to he raced himself, so he can put himself in our position, and I think that makes our conversations a lot easier throughout the weekend as well when we are talking about stuff. And of course, over the years, you really build up a relationship. From when I just joined the team to now, of course, it's a completely different relationship. You went through all the good moments and bad moments together, right? And it's a great environment to be in, and he's definitely a great team boss for us.
Brilliant. One thing I do love is your radio messages during the Grand Prix. On the occasion, you hear a bit of bleep, bleep, and the passion.
I swear quite a lot. Yeah.
No, we love it, and we love the passion. But what's Max like? What's Max Verstappen like outside of the car, away from the track?
I'm honestly the same. I'm just very straight to the point, and I say how it is. Sometimes it's probably not the best thing, or people don't appreciate that. But I think at the end of the day, for like a relationship to work, within the team, like from myself to the team members, I think it's very important to say when it's good or when it's bad straight away, not go around it and we'll see and we'll analyze. No, when it's good, it's good. When it's bad, it's bad. Or when I won't swear now, but I do swear sometimes because I think it's important. Just it's sometimes good to just say
get your frustration out.
Yeah, get your frustration out. Say how it is.
Yeah,
it works, and I want them to be like that to me as well because that's how I grew up, and that's what's working really well for me.
Straight to the point. Yep. I know you're a big football fan. Do you follow any teams in the Premier League? Don't say Man United, or this interview will be finished.
Yes, well, I'm a United.
Oh, we gotta go. Can we cut this interview, please? I'm a Liverpool fan. Obviously, I used to play for Liverpool myself, but you just ruined it.
Well, I'm a, it's not like I'm a diehard United fan. I mean, I'm talking to Virgil as well. Liverpool players, stuff like that. So for me, I enjoy when I see a great match, when I see great football. And I think the Premier League is the best league out there. A lot of great players. I think Man City's winning a little bit too much, but then again, I can say the same as from us, right?
It's like Red Bull, Man City.
Yeah, so I mean, it's just the other ones need to get better.
Yeah, 100%. There's a lot of Dutch influence in the Premier League at the minute. Like I said, Virgil, Gakpo, Timber's just signing for Arsenal, and you've got Ten Hag at Man United. What's the optimism like for the national team? Because the Euros will be coming next year as well.
Yeah, it's a tough one, I think. I think at the moment we're still not, I think, where we want to be as well. But again, now with Koeman back in charge, right, I really hope that it's going to go down well. I'm of course a big fan, but I'm also realistic. And I think, of course, at the moment they're not the best national team out there. But at the other end, I mean, you don't need to be the best team out there. If you're a good team, like if you just play well together, you don't need one superstar or whatever. Yeah. I think it's all about just getting your tactics right as well. Yeah. So let's see. They just need to play a bit more together, right, and have a bit more of a group. Like, don't keep swapping players in and out. But again, it also depends on injuries, a lot of things that go on, right? Yeah. And also form of players. But I always wish them the best. I'm always watching. It was a close call, of course, at the World Cup.
Yeah, very.
With Argentina, it was quite a spicy one. Unfortunately, I was at the FIA gala, so I was having like my phone on the table. But of course, always people talking to me at the time, so I couldn't really follow it. But it was quite a crazy match.
Yeah, it was. So, who's your best mate on the grid? We've heard it's Lando.
Lando is, I think it's also because we are the same generation. I think that helps a lot. Of course, he also lives in Monaco now, so sometimes we catch up. We do whatever we want to do on the water, or have a crap, go for lunch, like easygoing stuff. He's very normal, he's a great driver, but he's a really great person, a great human being as well.